Welcome to Sports Kid Drama Kid. I'm Jim. I'm the Sports Kid.
I'm Andy. I'm the Drama Kid.
And if you're joining us, this is a special release from our Patreon feed.
It is. We freed it from behind the paywall for
we
you.
We did. It's the Music Man episode. It's a popular one over there. And this is one of our reversal topic episodes.
Yes, where I tell Jim stories, gossip, drama from the theater and arts world.
Yeah, you sort of do what I do on the main episodes where I introduce you to a sports thing, but in reverse and in your own way, often with some personal theater anecdotes.
Yes, for sure. So in this episode, we're talking about The Music Man, my own personal history with The Music Man, the show in general, and then also the recent very hot gossip of Sutton Foster and Hugh Jackman from The Revival.
Yeah, this is our little PBS Pledge Drive intro. What you're about to see. And in PBS Pledge Drive fashion, we are asking for money on that Patreon eventually. We're freeing one today so that you'll pay later.
Yes. If you are interested in joining us over on the Patreon, we do think of it as the other half of this podcast, the companion piece to what you find in the main feed. So if you are already a Patreon subscriber, thank you so much. If you are enjoying the podcast and you feel that it is a value add to your life,
yes,
we would encourage you to head over to the Patreon. That is how we make money to keep the show going.
Yeah. And we thank everyone who already does that. But it's a labor of love over here, and every Patreon donor helps keep this going.
Helps a ton. Thank you for listening. No matter where you're listening, we love you all.
So that's our little PBS Pledge Drive. And now we bring you Ken Burns' Civil War. Sorry. Now we bring you the Broadway reinterpretation and putting on stage of Les Mis.
Ken Burns' Civil War. Oh.
Now we bring you a documentary about things in your neighborhood that you didn't know were there.
Or in the case of local public television, a documentary on Al Capone.
Yeah, always Al Capone. Oh my God.
We live in Chicago.
It's just Capone. PBS is just Capone. Anyway, here's the Music Man episode.
Y'all ready for this? Welcome to Sports Kid Drama Kid. I'm Andy. I'm the Drama Kid.
I'm Jim. I'm the Sports Kid.
Welcome back to the Patreon.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate it more than we could possibly say. So, it's my episode this week.
It is.
And it's all me this week.
Yep.
So let's get going. Jim, this is going to be half book report of a musical and half reporting on a current scandal and gossip within the Broadway community.
Ooh.
Yes.
Nice.
So, Jim, what do you know about the show The Music Man?
Okay. I have never seen it.
Okay.
I know that it's a classic.
Yeah.
Is it Rodgers and Hammerstein?
It is not.
Okay.
But that's a fair guess.
It's about a guy who comes to a small town and sells them instruments.
Yeah.
Including like brass tubas and stuff.
Yeah.
And the drama there comes from, I don't know, he's selling them bullshit or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he's we're gonna get into that, but that was actually like pretty close. You knew more than I thought you would know. Are you aware of like any famous songs from the show?
Just the one you have said around the house. I think the like, he's a music man. He's the one with the train car.
Thank you for the peek into what it's like to live with me. Just that one you sing around the house. He's a music man. He's a what? He's a who? He's a music man. Yeah, no, that one is called Rock Island, and we are going to discuss it. Okay, great. So let's get into it. The Music Man is a musical written entirely by a man named Meredith Willson. Willson wrote the book, the music, and the lyrics. So whole thing, top to bottom, is Meredith Willson.
Okay.
Music Man opened on Broadway in 1957, and it was a huge hit. It won 5 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, and the cast album won the first ever Grammy Award for Best Musical Theater Album. The cast album also spent 245 weeks on the Billboard charts, which puts it around the Hamilton cast album level of popularity for some context. And when you hear the music from this show, that parallel is going going to be funny.
Okay.
The music is great. It's just like, I don't know, it's the fucking Music Man.
Yeah.
It's like late 1950s and so corny.
Not to say that Lin-Manuel Miranda is less corny.
He's pretty corny. I feel like people are, maybe not anymore, but I feel like for a while, because he is admittedly a genius, people were afraid to say that Lin-Manuel is like corny as fuck. He's really corny.
Yeah. I mean, he hangs out with Jimmy Fallon. Like,
Fair enough.
Jesus.
Okay, so wildly popular show, and it remains one of those archetypal shows that represented this particular era of musical theater, like late 1950s, early 1960s. Because of how iconic it is, and also the fact that it's overall pretty wholesome, it has also defined high school musical theater for decades.
Yeah.
It is, I don't know about these days, but when my sister and I were growing up, it felt like that was a very popular musical theater option. There are also a lot of references to it in popular culture. You may remember some of these. Conan O'Brien parodied it for an episode of The Simpsons that he wrote, and it comes up a bunch on Family Guy. And then there's also my personal favorite referential moment in popular culture.
So, you girls gonna try out for the spring musical?
Us?
Yeah, you should. It'll be fun.
Okay, why not? Yeah. So, what musical are they doing?
The Music Man.
You're kidding! Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is coming down the street. I love the Music Man.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, I don't know that movie or the reference. I just recognize the Sex and the City lady.
Which one of those women do you think is the Sex and the City lady?
Can you go back?
Yes.
You girls gonna try out for the spring musical?
You think this
Yes.
is the Sex and the City lady?
No, never mind. I thought it was.
That is Lisa Kudrow of Phoebe on Friends.
I meant Friends.
This is
I meant
perhaps,
Friends.
I don't know if this is more or less egregious than the time we were watching a show with Nicole Kidman, and like, I don't know, we were already like 30 minutes in. You were like, so what's Amy Adams' part in or like,
Yeah.
what is Amy Adams' character up to? And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with pop
It's
culture
fine.
a lot of the time.
You've watched sports with me. That's what
Yeah.
I do. Where I'm like, oh, that player. And you're like, nope, different guy.
Nope.
All right.
Different Sanders.
All right. Anyway, it was from Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion, a movie that my childhood best friend Lauren and I watched literally every single weekend for a number of years. And speaking of my childhood, as we are legally obligated to do in every Patreon episode,
Yeah.
The Music Man also has a special place in my heart because when I was in 5th grade, I was in the high school production of The Music Man.
Oh, was that like a big deal?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. You heard that right. 5th grader in the high school production.
how does one line that up?
I'm so glad you asked.
Okay.
So I'll tell you more about this. I played Gracie Shin. I was one of the mayor's daughters. Actually, my older sister, Maxine, who was in high school at the time, actually played my mother, the mayor's wife, Eulalie Shin.
Wow, keep it in the family.
Yes. This production was also actually my first big theatrical rejection and heartbreak ever.
Oh no.
A main element of the show is the townspeople, which includes a bunch of little kids, some of whom have like some little singing and acting parts in the show. So the high school had a separate round of auditions for elementary school kids. Up to this point in my life, I had done dance recitals, choir concerts, no like actual musicals, but due to a tiny amount of raw talent and an excessive amount of praise from my parents, I was starting to suspect that maybe I was a real triple threat. I was absolutely determined to get the biggest female role for a non-high schooler, and that was Amaryllis. Amaryllis is a little girl who takes piano lessons from the main character, Marion, and she has a bunch of lines, and she also gets to sing a duet with the lead character, Marion. So I was desperate. I was in 5th grade at the time, so I was 10 or 11. I do not remember much about the audition other than the fact that all the other kids and their parents were also in the auditorium watching.
Whoa.
Did you ever have to do that for like a basketball tryout or anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, those are like the worst auditions. They don't happen a lot professionally, but like auditioning in front of all the other people who are also auditioning and their parents when you're 11.
Yeah. No, it wasn't parents for sports, but it was like all the other people you're competing against.
Obviously. Yeah, for sure. I do remember some of the parents coming up to my mother and me afterward and saying that I was a shoo-in for Amaryllis because I had done a good job. So like that was not good for me psychologically. My hopes were like way, way, way up. The call to the house came a day or two later, and I did not get cast as Amaryllis. I was given a much smaller kids role. I had like 3 lines and a couple of singing moments in the big group numbers. I should have been happy about it. I was not. Because to make matters worse, one of the girls who got cast as Amaryllis used to bully me a lot.
Oh, no.
We'll call her Alana Lightbulb for privacy. I was devastated. I remember crying a lot. I thought me getting the part was inevitable because other people's moms told me it was. And I don't know if you felt this way, but growing up, other people's moms were the government, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Somehow.
Like mothers in general were like, that was whatever they said was like correct for a long time. I cried for days, including at a gig that my dad's band was playing, which happened to be a biker bar. So I was like sobbing into a plate of hot wings. And then my mom had to like take me outside to comfort me. And I was just like crying next to a bunch of like Harley Davidson somewhere in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. I don't remember. I did the show. I ended up having a really fun time. Like I said, my sister played my mom, and that was really fun. I also happen to have footage from that performance. Thanks to Amanda Fabrizio, who went to high school with my sister and was also in the show, and actually had posted this on YouTube a couple of years ago. But that little treat will be for later.
Okay.
So let's shift to do you have anything you want to interject here?
I have one little story about like people's parents being like the law of the land when you're a kid. I just remember being really afraid when this one person who babysat us' dad got really mad at me for like accidentally deleting his score on Big Buck Hunter.
Yes, I remember you telling me this, and you were like, "This was like a moment for you."
Yeah, they accidentally deleted their dad's score on Big Buck Hunter, and the whole time the kids were torturing me, saying like, "My dad's gonna be so mad you did that."
Yeah, weren't they like, "My dad's gonna kill you"?
Yeah, basically. So the whole day I'm fucking anxious as hell, and then like the dad gets home and he's not like gonna kill a kid, but like he wasn't like nice about it.
No, I'm sure he wasn't.
To a 11-year-old.
Right around the same time, my dude.
Yeah.
It's a very raw time emotionally.
Maybe younger. It's like those types of times where I'm like, as an adult, I would never get mad at a 9-year-old for deleting my Big Buck Hunter score.
I know. And now
on my family PC, I just wouldn't care. Not that much.
And like now, you know, I have my 2 nieces who we love, and like it's just funny to be like, even an 11-year-old, like their brain's not ready to be yelled at that much. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It does, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so now I'm going to take you quickly through the plot of the show and highlight some moments and songs along the way.
Great.
To jog my memory and to pull clips for this episode, I rewatched the 1962 movie version of The Music Man, which stars Shirley Jones as Marion Peru. I was familiar with her from The Partridge Family on Nick at Night. I don't know if you were also a fan.
No, I didn't have cable.
Oh, that's right. Okay. That's right.
For a while.
And Robert Preston starred as Professor Harold Hill. Preston also originated this role on Broadway. A quick aside here about Robert Preston and also actually about Meredith Willson, the guy who wrote The Music Man. During the recordings in the studio for the 1962 movie version of The Music Man, Preston and Willson also recorded the theme song for President John F. Kennedy's youth fitness program.
No fucking way.
And we recently discussed this in our presidential sports episode.
Yeah.
That theme song was called Chicken Fat.
Of course it was. This is mind-blowing.
Isn't it? Do you remember the other day on the couch, I was like, I just found.
This is such an overlap. We literally just talked about how JFK hates fat people.
Soft boys.
I think nothing is more shameful in this country than a soft boy or girl. Only boy or girl. Nothing in between. And nothing fat.
Okay.
Okay.
So Meredith Willson wrote this song and Robert Preston sang it, and they recorded it while they were recording like songs for the Music Man movie.
It shall be called Chicken Fat. What the hell? Oh my God, it's like John Philip Sousa.
Yeah. You could tell what headspace they were in.
Every morning, 10 times, not just now and then. Give that chicken fat back to the chicken and don't. No, don't be
It's not going back on. This is insane.
Is it not?
every morning.
Okay.
10 times push up, starting low.
Wow.
Once more on the rise, nuts to the flabby guys. Go, you chicken fat, go away. Go, you chicken fat, go.
One more verse.
Good morning. Hands on hips, place. Now then, touch your toes with me. Ready?
Can't do that. Not at the table.
Down. 10 times.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8.
That chicken fat sex to the chicken and don't be chicken again. No, don't be chicken.
Don't eat chicken?
No, don't be chicken. Like, don't chicken out and don't chicken out from exercise and become and get your chicken fat back.
That's insane.
Give that chicken fat
That is wild.
back to the chicken and don't be chicken again.
So the people in charge of that program, sponsored by JFK,
Are freaks.
and they hired out Meredith, whatever.
Meredith Wilson and Robert Preston. Yeah. So they would play this record. It was released on a record in gymnasia across the country and make kids do workout routines to it. And in fact, a child of the 1990s, okay, so we're talking like quite a bit later, I weirdly have a memory of doing a routine to this song.
What?
Yes. During a gymnastics unit at day camp when I was probably like, I don't know, like 8. I remember at the time listening to lyrics and being like, what the fuck is this song? And it blew my mind when I happened upon it while researching for this because I was like, that's that song. That's a weird, because I literally remember it was so bananas.
Yeah. Chicken fat song.
The chicken fat song.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, weird that JFK's hatred of soft boys has come up twice this month in the
Soft
podcast.
Boys.
All right, let's get back to the plot. Do you have anything else you want to say about that?
Soft serve. Soft pillows. Soft clouds. Soft boys.
Soft music. So, back to the plot of the show. The musical opens with a bunch of traveling salesmen on a train leaving Rock Island, Illinois, as you alluded to from the very fun thing I sing around the apartment. It is the summer of 1912. All the traveling salesmen are shooting the shit about how modern advancements of 1912 are making their jobs more challenging.
Talk all you want, but it's different than it was.
No, it ain't, but you gotta know the territory.
Why, it's the Model T Ford made the trouble, made the people want to go, want to get up and go. 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 22, 23 miles to the county seat.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Who's gonna patronize a little bitty 2x4 kind of store anymore?
What do you talk?
Where do you get it?
Gone.
Gone with the hogshead cask and demijohn. Gone with the sugar barrel, pickle barrel, milk can. Gone with the tub and the pail and the tears.
Ever meet a fella by the name of Hill?
Hill.
Hill.
No! Just a minute.
Never heard of any salesman, Hill.
Now, he doesn't know the territory.
Doesn't know the territory.
What's a fella's line?
Never worries about his line.
Never worries about his line.
Or a doggone thing. He's just a bang, beat, bell ringing, big hall, great go, neck or nothing, rip roaring every time a bullseye salesman. That's Professor Harold Hill.
What's the fellow's line? What's his line?
He's a fake and he doesn't know the territory.
Look, what do you talk? What do you talk?
He's a music man.
He's a what? He's
He's a music man, and he sells clarinets to the kids in the town with the big trombones and the rat-a-tat drums, big brass bass, and the piccolo with uniforms too, with a shiny gold braid on the coat and a big red stripe running.
Well,
All right, that's enough.
Wow. And they're bouncing the whole time.
They are. And I did want to note, when this is performed on stage, they bounce the
I know.
whole time.
Yeah. I think I've seen this.
Yeah, I think I've shown you like high school
That
boys.
one scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you like the boys are bouncing around on the train. I don't want to say the boys are bouncing.
Yeah.
So this song is
I don't want to say the boys are bouncing.
Okay, so this song is especially, let's say, charming when performed by high schoolers because it requires a strong grip on rhythm and tempo that high schoolers just don't have.
Because you got to be kind of keeping the beat with your bounce the whole time on the beat.
Yes, exactly. Like seeing a scrawny kid who was dragged over to the auditorium from the track team and he's in a plaid jacket and like a bowler hat and some like fake facial hair and he's like, this is the scene for guys to be in. In high school. Oh, yeah.
Because there's like, you can put like 25 guys.
No, you needed, like, I guarantee you that every high school who does this show, like, the directors sit down and they're like, all right, we're going to have to recruit some of the soccer team because we have to do Rock Island and we have to fill it out. So, like, can you ask the soccer coach if, like, anyone on the team seems rhythmically inclined? Yeah, like any of these shows that
Why
are
don't they ever go to like a different group? It's always the stereotype of like, yeah, we hit up the high school athletes and we got some guys in there. Why don't they like, yeah, we're going to go to the goth kids and try to hit them up?
Well, I feel like they get hit up to be stage crew.
Okay.
But I think it's just, honestly, I think it's purely because like people just don't think that hard and they're like, girls do theater and boys do sports, and they forget that there's like a whole bunch of kids in between who don't do either.
Why don't they go down to the shop and see like, hey, do any of you guys want to do a musical?
Maybe that's the musical that you and I write together.
Yeah.
It's High School Musical. Everything's the same. It's just a shop kid.
The shop kids.
Instead of Troy Bolton, the basketball player.
Yep. Yeah, I will think about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's also just like they know that these kids are already participating in extracurriculars.
Things. So the type to do that stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, this and like Guys and Dolls and like any classic high school show where like teenage boys are playing like fully grown men. It's very canon for High School Musical theater. So the salesmen are talking about Harold Hill and they're like, he's a total con man. He doesn't just sell people things like anvils or barrels or pickles or whatever.
They also said that no one's going to go to a 2x4 store anymore.
Yes, they did. And Jeff Bezos agrees with that. But anyway, Harold Hill doesn't just sell like objects. He sells some of that, but he also sells the idea of a boys band in whatever town he's in. So he sells them instruments and lesson books and uniforms, and he gets all of their money with the idea that like he is going to put together a boys band. And then he like waits for the objects to show up, takes his cut of the money, and then like goes to the next town. And at the end of the scene, they're like, but he'll never try this scheme in Iowa where the train just arrived.
Yeah.
Because the people of Iowa are too stubborn and they'll never go for it. They'll see right through him. And then the train stops in River City, Iowa. Professor Harold Hill gets up and he's got a briefcase that says Professor Harold Hill in huge letters that he like, picks up and does a big swing. And then he gets off the train and the salesmen are like, what? He was here the whole time. The people of River City, Iowa then sing a song introducing themselves as extremely cold, angry, rude, and stubborn people. Apparently Meredith Willson was from Iowa and he wrote this show sort of as a love letter to his Iowan upbringing, but it's very tongue in cheek. Mm-hmm. And then in the tiny town of River City, Iowa, of all places, Harold Hill happens to run into an old friend of his, Marcellus Washburn. Marcellus was previously also a con man, and he used to be Harold Hill's shill, like in other cities. Mm-hmm. But he's given that life up to live an honest life in River City. But I was like, this is very like Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
Like he randomly runs into his like, oh, this is the guy who used to help me out with cons. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Slippin' Jimmy.
Slippin' Jimmy. That's right. I couldn't think of that. So Marcellus is like, you can run your band scheme here and I will help you. But Marion Peru, who is the town librarian and also the town piano teacher, is probably going to expose you because she actually knows about music and you don't know anything about music. And she's a very stern lady.
Okay. Stern lady.
Stern lady.
Knows music. So yeah. Okay. So she's like the music teacher of the town.
Yes.
And she'll notice. So let me guess. The Music Man has to fall in love with her.
I mean, do you have to be so good at plot? Before that, though, Hill is like, okay, Marcellus, give me the details on like what's been going on in the town. Give me the tea, because I need a way to convince these people that they are absolutely desperate for a boys marching band.
Oh man, what times we're saying boys on this one is making me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's not great.
It's not great. Marcellus is like, well, the local billiard parlor just got a pool table, and the town has never had a pool table before.
Wow.
So in a frenzy of propaganda and fear-mongering that Fox News could only dream of, Harold Hill convinces the town that the game of pool is absolutely sinful and is going to corrupt all the young people in the town.
Okay.
You are not aware of the caliber of disaster indicated by the presence of a pool table in your community. Well, you got trouble, my friend. And the next thing you know, your son is playing for money in a pinchback suit and listening to some big out-of-town Jasper, hearing him tell about horse race gambling. Not a wholesome trotting race, no, but a race where they set down right on the horse. Like to see some stuck-up jockey boy setting on Dan Patch? Make your blood boil, well, I should say.
This is
now,
insane.
friends, let me tell
Isn't
you what
it?
I mean. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets in a table.
What are your reactions to that?
I didn't like it.
You didn't? Why?
For one, I don't know, like it's not rap, but it's like white guy talk singing, which was so popular in like this genre.
It's called a patter song.
Just a guy who just like that.
Yeah, it's very Gilbert and Sullivan. It was a whole thing. It's called a patter song. So the plot from here is basically just Harold Hill is very good at tricking and distracting everyone, and he does convince the town that they need and want, say it with me, a boys band. The only person he has trouble convincing is Marion, exactly. The local librarian and piano teacher who kind of thinks she's better and smarter than everyone else in the town. Okay. She's also the town spinster at the ancient age of 26.
Oh, yes.
In the movie, she's 26. In stage version, she's anywhere in her 20s or 30s. Also ancient. She is skeptical, and she actually does find evidence that Hill is lying because she is an excellent research librarian. But Harold Hill is really nice to her family, including her recently widowed mother and also her little brother Winthrop, who has a lisp, and he's very sensitive about it, and he never talks. But Harold Hill gets him to talk and even sing and get excited about playing the trumpet. So basically, because Harold Hill manages to take a pretty boring, deflated little town and give it something to be excited about and hopeful for, Marion decides to give him a chance. Also, because she's basically dead at 26 and wants to finally get her.
Yeah.
And when Harold realizes that Marion has known all along that he's a fraud, and yet she still cares about him and like wants to defend him, he falls for her. He was originally just trying to like seduce her to distract her, but like then they have like an actual connection. And miraculously, even though the town eventually also realizes that Harold Hill is a fake and they want to punish him and run him out of town, the boys of River City show up with their instruments,
the band,
in their uniforms, and they manage to eke out a terrible song. Despite Harold Hill never actually teaching them to play. He told them this whole time while they were like waiting for the uniforms and stuff to come in, he told them if they just thought really hard about the music that they would be able to play it, like whistling. He calls it the think system, and now we call it manifesting or the secret.
Yep.
What's cute about this scene is that these kids are playing horribly, but you can sort of like make out the melody of the song, and all the parents are just so like blinded by how like proud they are of their kids. They're just like, oh my God, that's my son and he's playing an instrument. So like all is well because of that. Let's talk about a couple of the songs. The start of the song Wells Fargo Wagon, which is a song about how all the townspeople are so excited that the Wells Fargo wagon is coming through town to deliver stuff to them. It is like, it makes their whole month.
Okay. Nice.
The start of this is particularly egregious. And for this clip, we have a special treat that I alluded to earlier.
The balance sheet.
Mayor Shin, I found something very interesting in this book about the festive hills on the Monte.
That's me in the bow.
Oh my God.
And that is Maxine in the red.
About that. In fact, that's all I can get out of him. Gary Conservatory Class of Art 5.
If you'll just take time to read a little bit about the conservatory, I don't think you'll have to look any further. It's on page...
The Wells Fargo wagon's coming up from the depot.
Nice. So what is the story? At this hour of the day...
You do that again?
The band instruments.
The band instruments.
I don't know.
Sorry, you want to say it again? It was so good.
No, I want to hear the lines again.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I can recite them. I'm kidding. All right, I'll go back.
Gary Conservatory Class of Art 5.
If you'll just take time to read a little bit about the conservatory, I don't think you'll have to look any further. It's on page...
The Wells Fargo wagon's coming up from the depot.
Nonsense, a likely story. At this hour of the day,
It could be the band instruments.
the band instruments.
I don't know. Jeff Turtle missed his entrance.
There's like tech people in the background talking about someone missing their entrance. We're going to let this play for a sec.
Welcome rewards and me a bathtub and a cross-cut saw. The Wells Fargo wagon is coming down the COD. The price from COD. It could be curtain, 4 dishes, or it could be. Yes, it could be. Yes, you're right. It surely could be. Something special. Something very, very special now. Just for me.
Wow. Amazing.
I also had 2 other lines in a different scene, but that was kind of my big moment. I introduce the Wells Fargo wagon.
You do.
I introduce it.
You call it out. It's coming.
It's coming from the depot, and it could be the band instruments.
Yeah, it could be the band instruments.
Okay, this next song is called Light a Rose. So one of the ways in which Harold Hill is an excellent fake band salesman is that he always distracts anybody who's trying to like see if he has any credentials.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like the mayor assigns the angry men of the school board who are always fighting with each other to like keep pestering Hill and be like, where is your credentials? Like, do you actually have like a degree in music, whatever?
Yeah.
And he always distracts them. And the main way that he does that is through like fake flattery and intoxicating whimsy. He notices that the 4 very argumentative male members of the school board have a range of speaking voices from very high to very low.
Okay. Is this like a barbershop thing?
Yes, it is. He has them do, quote, sustained talking and gets them singing in 4-part harmony. And like every man who has ever joined a college a cappella group, they get straight up fucking addicted to harmonizing together.
Da 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 da. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world.
Anyway,
that train going anywhere.
All right, I can't.
Boom, boom.
So they're a barbershop quartet, and they honestly sing the dreamiest music throughout the show, including this song that I love called Light a Rose.
Light a rose, I'm home.
Oh, I've heard this.
Yeah, it's like a classic barbershop song.
Without a sweetheart to my name. Light a rose, how everyone knows that I am hoping you're the same. So here is my love song, not fancy or fine. Light a rose, oh, won't you be my light rose, oh, light rose.
I really set you up for that. I kind of knew. I was like, if I play this, he's going to do it.
The bass note?
Yeah, at the end. Mine. Incredible fun fact. The guys who played these guys in the movie are an actual barbershop quartet called the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, yeah. Everyone named William.
So I am now a Buffalo Bills fan, but this is who I mean.
Okay.
Not the football team. There is yet another variety number called Shapoopy, which I am just going to let speak for itself.
Okay.
Now, a woman who kissed on the very first date is usually a hussy. And a woman who kissed on the second time out is anything but fussy. But a woman who waits till the third time around, head in the clouds, feet on the ground, she's the girl he's glad he's found. She's his shapoopy, 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 shapoopy.
I hate this.
Shapoopy, shapoopy.
But you can't win her yet.
Walk her once just to raise the curtain. Walk around twice and you make for certain. Once more in a flower garden, she will never get soft, you beg her pardon.
3 dates. 3 dates.
Squeeze her once when she isn't looking. You get a squeeze back, that's fancy cooking. Once more for a
Don't do that.
So anyway, that's that fucking
Don't
song.
squeeze her once while she's not
when
looking.
she isn't looking. Yeah, don't do that. don't do that. As far as what a shapoopy is, according to Wikipedia, quote, neither the song's lyrics nor the surrounding dialogue explain the meaning of the term shapoopy, which Wilson invented for the song and acts as a term of endearment.
Okay.
Honestly, it's really just an excuse for like a giant dance number with all of like the young men and women in the town. Okay, not a song, but I do want to highlight the character of Eulalie McKechnie Shin, who is the mayor's wife. This was the part my sister played. It is an amazingly funny role. And Hermione Gingold, who played this role in the movie, is incredibly funny. So she's headed into the library to confront Marion.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Shin. Don't change the subject.
Is something the matter?
The same thing is the matter as is always the matter here. Look. Is this the sort of book you give my daughter to read? This ruby hat of Omar Khayyam? I am appalled.
I did recommend it. It's beautiful Persian poetry.
It's dirty Persian poetry. People lying out in the woods eating sandwiches, getting drunk with pitfall and with gin, drinking directly out of jugs with innocent young girls. No daughter of mine is ever...
Mrs. Shin, the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam is a classic.
It's a smutty book. Like most of the others you keep here, I dare say.
Honestly, Mrs. Shin, wouldn't you rather have your daughter read a classic than Eleanor Glyn?
What Eleanor Glyn reads is her mother's problem. Just you keep your dirty books away from my daughter.
Wow.
Isn't it? Out in the woods eating sandwiches.
Eating sandwiches.
Drinking directly out of jugs. Okay. So this is the last song we're going to listen to. It's called Till There Was You. This is the big love song at the end of the show. And it is really beautiful. And the Beatles actually released a version of it that you've probably heard. So I really like that song because it's just a beautiful love song, but also it's really about the fact that Marion is actually just satisfied by the change of perspective that Harold Hill has given her. Because at this point in the show, she assumes like he doesn't feel the same. He has just been trying to seduce her and he's going to leave town after they hook up. But she's at peace with that because she's like, he has like rekindled her interest in life and love. And that's enough for her.
Okay.
That last clip was actually Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster.
I was wondering who that was. It was like someone standing in profile the whole time.
Yes. That clip was Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster in the 2022 Broadway revival of The Music Man, which is the topic for the second part of this episode. In this production, Hugh played Professor Harold Hill and Sutton Foster played Marion Peru. Jim, were you at all aware of this 2022 revival?
I think I was, just because the Tony Awards, it was weird, like a weird year.
Yes.
Because it was like a lot of revivals.
Because it was, yes. You kind of already answered this, but do you know who Sutton Foster is?
Other than like Broadway.
And do you know who Hugh Jackman is?
Wolverine?
Yes, obviously I was kidding. Hugh Jackman is a movie star. He is Wolverine. I have never seen an X-Men movie, but I am aware that he is
I don't
Wolverine.
really watch them either. That's one thing we both agree on very much. Is
Yeah, we're not really
no superhero movie.
No cinematic universes.
Nope.
I mean, we'll watch them, but like neither
Dune or Star Wars,
Yes.
but not like Marvel.
Let me put it this way. There are no Marvel-themed decorations in this home. And I'm not saying we have good taste. I'm just saying there are no Marvel-themed
None.
decorations in this house. For many years, also, as an aside, I was not really aware that a Wolverine and a wolf were two different animals.
Yeah, I remember having to show you that.
So Hugh Jackman is a Marvel movie star. He's also been in movies like The Prestige, which I weirdly very much love, Australia, and also musical movies like Les Mis and The Greatest Showman. Jim, did you happen to see the Hugh Jackman, Anne Hathaway Les Mis in 2012?
No.
Okay. I saw it with my two roommates who were close friends from college, and we had all been theater majors, and this was the December of our first full year out of college. So I cried a lot. I remember thinking that Hugh Jackman didn't have the greatest voice, and Jean Valjean usually has like a really powerful voice, but his acting was insanely good.
They think that man is me. Without a second glance, the stranger they have found, this man could be my chance. Why should I save his hide? Why should I right this wrong? When I have come so far and struggled for so long. If I speak, I am condemned. If I stay silent, I am damned.
Yes, he's very good.
Yeah, he's really good. I don't know. Maybe I just fucking love Les Mis, but I think that is a commanding performance. Hugh Jackman has also done a lot of live musical theater in Australia and on the West End in London. And he was previously on Broadway in The Boy from Oz in 2003, for which he won a Tony.
Wow.
So that's his deal. Did you know that he had so much musical theater under his belt?
No, I did not.
Yeah. Okay, so Sutton Foster, deeply beloved Broadway actress. She wanted to perform from a young age, dropped out of Carnegie Mellon's very prestigious musical theater program after just 1 year to pursue performing. Spent several years touring, doing regional theater, understudying, working her way up. Sutton made her Broadway debut as the lead in Thoroughly Modern Millie in 2002. That was really her big break, and it was a performance that inspired a generation of women, myself included, to sing Forget About the Boy for many, many auditions.
Forget about the soft boy.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Oh, boy. She also won a Tony for that performance, got incredible reviews, and that really cemented her as this exciting new female voice on Broadway. She has an incredible singing voice. She's very likable and charming and goofy. And she's also a really good dancer, particularly tap dancer. So she's really a triple, quadruple, whatever threat. And she comes in handy in shows that there are tap dancing, which is a lot of like more classic musicals. Mm-hmm. She did a bunch more shows, including musical very dear to me personally, Little Women. She starred as Jo March and was nominated for a Tony for that. She was in The Drowsy Chaperone, Young Frankenstein, Shrek the Musical. And this...
Hey now, you're an all-star. Game on.
I don't think that's in the musical.
Okay.
I don't know if they could get the rights from Smash Mouth.
They definitely did. It's got to be in there.
She was also in a huge revival of the show Anything Goes, for which she won her second Tony Award. She has also had a TV career, starring in the not great show Younger with Hilary Duff, which premiered on TV Land before it was transferred to Paramount Plus, and I have watched all of it.
Wow.
So that's probably what you were thinking.
You were navigating the back channels of content.
It was like a decently popular show among a small group of people.
The old TV Land to Paramount Plus pipeline.
I know. I was like, I looked it up because I was like, I watched it on streaming, but like, I don't think it was like, I don't know. It wasn't on like a regular network, right? And then I was like, sure wasn't. But it lasted 7 seasons.
Wow. Wow.
So people who liked it. Just to have you see Sutton perform, here is a clip of her at the Tony Awards for the revival of Anything Goes.
In the olden days, a glimpse of stocking was looked on as something shocking, but now God knows anything goes. Good authors too, who once knew better words, now only use 4-letter words, writing prose. Anything goes. If driving fast cars, you like it, low bars, you like it, bold hymns, you like it, bare why nobody will oppose. But every night the set that's smart is intruding in nudist parties and studios. Anything
We don't need to watch
Tap
the whole tap
dancing's
number.
great.
Isn't it? Tap dancing is so rousing to watch. So that is Sutton. She's a star. In March of 2019, it's announced that there will be a revival of The Music Man, which had only been revived one other time on Broadway in 2000. It was being produced by a huge piece of shit, producer Scott Rudin, and Hugh Jackman was set to star in it. It's then shortly after announced that Sutton will be starring opposite Hugh. Then COVID postpones the show until spring of 2021. Then in April, spring of 2021, Scott Rudin finally gets canceled for being abusive to his employees for the entirety of his career, which results in a couple Broadway actresses, including Sutton Foster, vowing to leave productions if Rudin didn't step down. Rudin steps down. The revival finally begins previews in December of 2021. Critical reception was pretty split. Some people loved it. Some people didn't. It was nominated for 6 Tony Awards, but it didn't win any. So it was like kind of middle of the road, but like still a good show. However, it was a huge box office success, partially because this was the first wave of live entertainment coming back post-COVID. So this show was like, Broadway is back. So it was an exhilarating run. Art wasn't totally dead after all. It wasn't an election year. Shipoopi was on stage 8 times a week. What a time to be alive.
No.
The production had its final performance on Broadway on January 15th, 2023. I'm highlighting dates here because they do become irrelevant. So Hugh gives a big curtain call thank you speech, as happens at the closing night of every musical theater performance from high school auditorium to Broadway. And here is how that speech ends.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You always get to talk. But you talk about choosing, right? And so every day we make choices when we leave our houses. And I just want to thank you. Every day you choose to be kind. And I also want to thank you for choosing Broadway. Choices out there. And you're welcome back anytime.
Seemed very into each other.
Noted. So clearly they had an amazing time working together. You can tell like they're both crying. They both seem very emotional. Obviously, it's the closing night of a show. You're going to be emotional, but whatever. 8 months later, in September of 2023, Hugh Jackman announces that he and his wife of 27 years, Deborah Lee Furness, will be separating.
What?
A year after that, October of 2024, literally last month, Sutton Foster files for divorce from her husband of 10 years, Ted Griffin.
Oh, Wolverine. Mr. Prestige. I don't remember his character.
No, me neither. So obviously
Nikola Tesla himself.
No, David Bowie, I think, plays Nikola Tesla. It's such a good movie. Anyway, so obviously when Hugh's announcement happens, and then obviously when Sutton's announcement happens a year later, tabloids go nuts. There are a bunch of articles still coming out, like literally today, claiming the pair are definitely still together and that it was a known secret, like on Broadway, that they were both cheating on their spouses with each other while doing the show. And that they're madly in love and they're going to spend the rest of their lives together. Like there was a huge, not that Us Weekly is a trusted news source, but there was a huge Us Weekly article that some anonymous source is like, no, they've been together since the show. It was like an open secret that everyone knew. And Deborah, Hugh's wife, was like really upset about it. And it definitely caused their divorce, whatever. And then this is a post sort of summing everything up from the gossip blogger Tasha Lustig.
It seems that they want to soft launch this now. For the newbies, a little bit of context. Hugh Jackman was married to Deborah. She gave him pretty much her whole life and career. Then she started getting real worried when he was doing his Broadway show because he was supposedly obsessed with Sutton. But Sutton's also got a husband. And everyone was like, no, she's happily married. They're just really close. But unsurprisingly, with looks like this, the rumors were flying around still, right? And after Hugh dropped the whole bomb of like, yeah, I'm divorced. But now these two are going to have to make it look like it was all worth it. They're going to have to dream up the Disney story of the ages. It was Kismet. It was meant to be. She was right under his nose the whole time. They had to, you know? They're going to have to sell this. But Sutton girl, are you not scared of karma? Because she mean. Your ex did this to you. He cheated on you with Laura Bell Bundy on the Legally Blonde show. And look how karma's treating him. It ain't so good, is it?
Mm-hmm.
But we know our girl, Deborah, she's going to have a glow up. She's going to do just fine.
So Christian Borle,
I've
whatever.
seen that guy everywhere forever. I always recognize him.
He's sort of like how I feel about Tom Brady. Where I'm like, this fucking guy again? Like, are we never going to be done with
him?
Yeah, he's been in like everything. He used to be married to Sutton Foster and he cheated on her with Laura Bell Bundy while she was doing Legally Blonde.
Wow.
It all ties back.
Jesus.
So anyway, neither Sutton nor Hugh have confirmed or denied this themselves. This is all just like anonymous sources and gossip bloggers and whatever. Apparently, though, Hugh's ex-wife, Deborah, liked that post of that video we just watched from her private Instagram. And her friend, Amanda, like this is a confirmed friend of hers, I guess, commented, quote, "You are on point with this one. My beloved friend Deb is about to have her glow up any moment, FYI." So we don't know. We don't 100% know. But I decided to go back in time and we're going to watch some clips and see how we feel about the situation. Okay, so this is Sutton and Hugh doing an interview for The Music Man on Late Night with Seth Meyers, May 6, 2022. So they were in the run of the show at this point.
I'm having the time of my life playing opposite this guy.
You had to say that, but
yeah,
thank you.
I did.
Thank you.
But it's really like it's a dream come true.
Can
truly.
you guys clock what kind of audience you have on any given night? I mean, you obviously have a lot of two-person scenes in the show. Can you make eye contact and know it's this kind of night?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes the audience goes away, or like we hecklers.
Oh yeah, we did have.
What kind of heckles do you get during The Music Man?
Good point. Yeah. Mainly clean.
Yeah.
Kiss her already.
Oh, a lot of kiss her already? That's true.
Yeah.
But there is you do make us wait for it a bit in the show.
Yeah, we do. We once got a hey-o. Yeah, that was. I'm not encouraging heckling.
Yeah, right, exactly. I did once. I stand up at the beginning of the show. I say one line, and I stand up, and I did hear a Wolverine. I'm like, it's gonna be a long night, pal. I'm just saying.
Okay, so this is July 8th, 2022, and Sutton is on Kelly and Ryan talking about Music Man.
Do you do anything? Do you have a pre-show ritual? What do you do before the show?
Hugh and I actually do. So we call it carpet chat, but we
could be our next spin-off.
Yeah, that's the name of our Quibi show.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly. But for some reason, we hang out in my dressing room like before every show and just catch up. But somehow we ended up me because my dressing room is a mess, so we sit on the carpet. But we do. It's like such a wonderful thing. It's like you just come and we've become really good friends, and we just talk and catch up on our day, and you know, it's that's been one of the things one of the best parts of the whole thing is that I've made this wonderful new friend.
Okay, so there's that. And then the last clip I want to play for you is we watched part of the song Till There Was You, but we did not watch the kiss at the end of the song Till There Was You. Let's just take a look.
I mean, they definitely went for it, but it is acting.
I know, but it was pretty.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think that they're together?
Yeah. I mean, not necessarily for the clips.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of like keeping it together, but it was pretty like flirty.
Yeah.
And like, I would believe it. Yeah.
Yes. So, like, just some context. I mean, it's like a showmance. Like, Broadway was back. This is the first time anybody had left their homes regularly in a while.
That's what it was.
Including the two of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is the first person back that they're like performing with. And for her, it's like the biggest movie star in the world.
Yes, it's Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Apparently, because of COVID, there were no guests ever allowed backstage. So it was like backstage was kind of its own little bubble.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're having their carpet chats and like neither of their spouses can come backstage. Also, all of the drama with Scott Rudin, which I'm sure was like, you know, a lot. Yeah. And like the show getting postponed. Also, people fall in love with their co-stars all the time. Showmances. Like it happens in theater, it happens in movies. Like you just get swept up in it. Even a show with a song called Shipoopy can cast a real love spell on you. So my personal thoughts on this are summed up well by Marissa Dow for Betches. And I'll have you read this.
As a reluctant theater kid, all I can say is if the alleged rumors are true, this is a canon event. Straight man cleaning up house in a theater production, and we cannot intervene.
That's really all there is to it. So that's the episode. Do you have any final thoughts?
Thank you for telling me about Music Man.
Yeah.
No, that showmance is kind of shocking, especially because both of those people are like very professional in their careers.
They are. Like, I don't know. It's funny. Like, I know a lot of people probably don't really know who Sutton Foster is, and like neither do I really, but I've just always known her as like, you know, she's a nice lady who's like a really good musical theater actress and like seems pretty chill and pretty cool. And I'm sure she is. And apparently Hugh is known to be a really nice guy. Like, so, you know, it's weird to have these two people be like cheaters, you know? Like,
but these also, like beloved people for their things are like now cheaters.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Which, I mean, that's the media, that's tabloids. What are you going to do? Like, people can't have rich, multifaceted lives. They are also are cheaters.
Yep. Thanks a lot for joining us for another Patreon.
Yes. We will be back next month with a new Patreon episode and back in your regular feed very soon.
Yes, with an exciting one.
If you haven't already, leaving a review or just telling people about the podcast super helps. And thank you so much for being here.
On that, as we get closer to the like Christmas holiday, the one gift anyone can give us is just telling people at their Christmas holidays
it's true.
who are into podcasts that we exist.
It's very true.
If it ever comes up in an awkward conversation.
You got a cool cousin you don't see very often, but you guys trade like movie recommendations or podcast recommendations.
Just little grassroots efforts.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Do 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 do.